Last week, this is gonna be hard to say. This is gonna be a tough one to get through. Alright. This week, an emotional support hamster was unceremoniously flushed down the toilet in the Newark, New Jersey airport when it was denied boarding by Spirit Airlines on a flight from New Jersey heading out to Los Angeles, California. The hamster was flushed down the toilet by its owner when they wouldn't allow it to board that flight. The now pelagic hamster's owner, Belen Alcosea, accused the Spirit Airlines staff of forcing her to flush her rotund rodent down the toilet. Pebbles the hamster received an unceremonious burial at sea, based out of Newark, New Jersey. The owner, Belen Alcosea, alleges that Spirit Airlines representatives recommended she flush the hamster down the toilet so that she could board a later flight, according to her attorney, Aaron Goodman. Upon researching alternative travel means, Richard Gere was not available for comment. Goodman states that the owner was told over the phone that she could indeed bring her emotional support animal, specifically the hamster, on the flight with her. However, once arriving at Newark Airport, Pebbles was tearfully turned away, and that's when the flushing occurred. Apparently though, she was given the option to take a later flight, at which time she chose to flush the hamster down the toilet. What I don't get is that she was allegedly told to do this by a Spirit Airlines representative. Not a good idea for an animal that you are supposedly emotionally tied to. I mean, what's gonna happen when she has a puppy? I hope she has damn good plumbing. Spirit Airlines states that after researching this incident, we can say confidently that at no point did any of our agents suggest this guest, or any other for that matter, should flush or otherwise injure an animal, the airline spokesperson Derek Dombrowski said in a statement to NBC News. He added that it's incredibly disheartening to find out that this guest decided to end her animal's life. In recent weeks, both United Airlines and Delta have begun to crack down on people trying to get animals passed as emotional support animals. As a matter of fact, the airline said in a statement that the workers struggle to cope with issues like biting aggression, urination, defecation, allergic reactions, conflict, and other discomforts. And that doesn't even count the ESA animals. Several airlines also prohibit certain pets from boarding regardless of whether or not they are service animals. Some of these animals include reptiles, birds, anything with tusks, and kookaburras. It also doesn't help that just last week in the same airport, someone tried to pass off a peacock as an emotional support animal. Now, I'm all for using whatever animal it is that makes you feel comfortable in certain stressful environments, but a peacock is pushing it just a little too far. I mean, how are you supposed to even fit that in the cabin? So my point is this: unless you have an exceptionally well-trained animal and you are able to demonstrate that to an airport, don't even bother trying to get over it. For instance, my emotional support kookaburra is on point. But Miami-based attorney Adam Goldman wants to make sure that people understand the difference between a small palm-sized hamster and a potentially large and devastating peacock being brought onto a plane. Ultimately, it looks like Alcosea is going to be seeking damages from Spirit Airlines for the loss of her hamster, which she is apparently blaming on them. But what her attorney failed to take into account is what an incredibly douchebag move this is. If you rely on an animal for emotional support, you should likely not flush it down the toilet. Apparently, it was a very tearful goodbye, but what I don't seem to understand is how can you flush your best friend? What did she think was going to happen to it? Either she watched way too many Stuart Little movies, or she thought that it was going to end up in the sewers training turtles or something. Did she stop to think for a moment that a hamster would no longer be able to emotionally support her from the Newark, New Jersey sewer system? Yeah, it sounds like someone needs a service salamander instead. Now listen, I understand the need to want to take your companion animal anywhere you go, and it is very tempting to be able to sneak them onto an airline, but there are significant regulations and retributions to this. If they find out your animal is not a registered ESA animal, you can be subject to fines. And in cases like this, where you're traveling with an animal, if you make it one way and not back, you could have a very difficult time getting your companion pet home. Seriously think about that, especially international. Take into account that when you're traveling internationally, there are a lot of laws about bringing animals into a country without them undergoing some kind of quarantine, so be really careful about that as well. You could very well end up losing your best friend. And also take into account the effect that your animals will have on people around them. This is kind of a pet peeve of mine. When people bring animals into the public, you don't stop to think that a lot of people have debilitating fears when it comes to anything. Animals like rodents and yes, even peacocks can spark a significant panic. And at several thousand feet in the air, that is not the best of things to happen. And lastly, take into account the phobias that people have. People are scared of literally everything. Even a small hamster getting loose on a flight could have disastrous results. So my question is, do you think that people are taking it way too far with trying to sneak animals on planes as emotional support animals? And furthermore, how would you feel sitting next to either a peacock or a hamster? Let me know. But seriously, let us know. Comment below. And don't forget to subscribe. I will send a kookaburra assassin. Unless your animal's well trained like this. Ow! That was my finger.